Great, welcome. I would like to welcome Katherine Frost to Planners on Purpose. Katherine, welcome
Thank you.
to the show here.
It's so nice to be on the show.
Yes, yes. It's very, very good to be able to have you here and discussing your company and discussing you and how you got started in the industry. So I figured, why don't we go ahead and start with that? I read a story that you got started in this industry in your home. Is that correct? You're raised by a family of entertainers.
So I grew up in a house in Texas, in Houston,
Okay.
Texas, where my grandfather actually grew up in the same house. And so it was built in the 1930s. It was very conducive for parties. And I didn't think that that was weird growing up until I hit adulthood. But we would have croquet parties, we would have nonprofit events. And so it was really fun that my parents allowed me to help with catering in the background, making sure that nothing was ever empty. So I was always running around, cleaning up, and making sure the buffet was still fully stocked. So it was a good intro into events. And then once I graduated from college, I actually started working for a destination management company. And so I worked a lot with the convention traffic into Denver and some of our mountain towns in Colorado. And so I really felt like there was a personal connection missing with me and some of my clients. And so I really wanted to get into wedding planning. And so I decided to start my own company 5 years ago. And I never looked back. So it was a great experience being able to work with clients and their families and just make their special day even more amazing than they had even hoped for.
Right. And so did any of that, I guess, you being raised, sometimes the things that we go through when we're younger, we're like, oh my gosh, I want to stay away from that as much as possible. It seems like this had the adverse effect that you really enjoyed it and wanted to make it a lifetime venture of service, right?
Yes, absolutely. I don't know how I fell in love with it. My parents want nothing to do with it now. And I'm like, can we please do more events?
Well, they're fun. They're so fun, and it's so enjoyable just seeing everyone come to life and have their visions really, push through on an event. So it's just a special. I think it's just a special little place that we hold here in the world.
I agree.
Yeah. So tell us about A Frosted Affair. So this is a company that you started after being in the DNC world for a while. What made you step out and become an entrepreneur and start A Frosted Affair?
It was funny. I was actually engaged at the time, and my mom and my florist really pushed me to start my own company because I was like, I feel like I'm stuck in this rut.
Mhm.
Um, I do love planning events, and I just feel like there's something missing. And this florist and I are still best friends to this day. And they were like, you should just start your own company. You do so great planning these events. You'll have a great time working with wedding couples. And so I was like, okay. And so that night I actually went to Kinko's and started printing out business cards. And I was like, all right, well, we're just going to run full speed into this and see how it goes.
That's
But I couldn't have done it without the support of my family.
awesome. And I'm pretty sure they're right there to help you because it was in their wheelhouse as well.
Yes.
Awesome. So now Frosted Affair seems to be going through an exciting transitions. Tell us what that is. What's happening?
Yes. So since I've had all these years in the events world, I've felt that there's been something lacking, especially when it comes to technology. I feel like we've been operating as event planners in the dark ages a little bit.
Yeah.
We have just been fully into Excel and all of the different pages in Excel. We have these massive binders that, fill up our car, our trunks, other people's cars sometimes. I was just tired of always traveling with all these things that I needed for all of my events in case my clients or any of my vendors had questions. And
Mhm.
so I was like, there has to be a better way. I was doing research for platforms and I just wasn't finding anything where it would be all of the my checklist items that I wanted in a platform were going to be in one spot. So I actually teamed up with my now business partner, who I stole away from Microsoft, and so
Oh,
he really knew
that's a
what I
good
was talking
deal.
about with Excel. And I was like, please help me. I think that there's a unique market for this, and planners want full control, and So ORO was born from this dream.
Mhm. Right. And talk about, I know you talked about the force that changed your business was more of not wanting to be in the stone ages, right? When it comes to putting everything together. But tell us what else was there to kind of help. What was your motivating factor to really say, I'm going to step out and do this on my own?
So I talked to my family. I really didn't know if this was like a good direction to be heading, since I mean, I'm in events world, you know, we like to think outside the box when it comes to our clients and their vision. But this was something where I didn't know if I was just dreaming really big and, you know, someone needed to bring me down a little bit. But, you know, my family was like, no, that's such a great idea. You know, you should really start to pursue this. And so my sister actually, growing up, she went to school with a kid that ended up working for Microsoft, and he is now, he turned out to be my business partner now. And so she was like, you should talk to him and see what he thinks about this, since he is in the tech space. And so we really hashed out these details, and we started talking to other planners, not planners that I only knew, but some of the planners that he knew, you know, planners in Colorado, Texas, and everywhere, and try to get a real feel for what people and what their headaches were in the industry. And so we started to go down this road while still planning events. But I really felt like there needed to be this tech piece. And so why not have a planner get into the mix of it and make it
Yeah.
a great platform for us?
So I'm sure you met a lot of challenges though by doing that. Tell us about some of the challenges that you had to take when moving in this direction with oral.
Yes, absolutely. So since tech is such a hot topic across all industries at the moment, it's actually very difficult to find people to program such an elaborate platform that we have. And so we really had to dig in our heels, and I had to start interviewing a lot. I had to almost put on my sales hat to find tech people, which seems really kind of almost counterintuitive to what we normally do. People are like always coming to us for events and everything else. And so for me to really be pursuing ORO, I really had to, for 2 years,
Mhm.
find good people to build this platform and make it what it is today. And so that was a huge challenge, just finding people.
Wow, that understood your language too, I'm sure, when it came to events as well. How long, you mentioned you were doing this for 2 years. How long has this transition been? Kind of what was the timeline of when you first received the idea to now actually launching the product?
Yeah, so we launched last month, which was really exciting for us. And we started beta testing. It's pretty much when the pandemic started. So luckily, we had plenty of planners that were willing to help us out during that time. But this was about 2.5 years in the making. So my partner and I were talking for a while, and then we were like, okay, we're gonna go full speed into this. So we brought in 3 other people to really help us build this platform. We stole someone from Uber, so you know, I I was really proud of that one. But it really is a great platform. It runs really well, having all these amazing tech people
Mm.
with their diverse backgrounds in startups, and they didn't know a lot about events, but I can tell you now they could probably plan their own smaller event. I wouldn't throw them to the wolves for a wedding just yet, but maybe a smaller corporate dinner they'd be able to handle now. And I'm like, yay, my work here is done.
They're getting there, right? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great. So I wanted to talk about just you advocated for stress-free events at Frosted Affair, and then so now we have this technology platform, and it sounds like you really want to ease your client stress. The event planner is the top of mind now. So tell us how through Oro you're helping with relieving that stress on the planner.
Absolutely. So with one of our favorite features is the timeline feature. We all have created many timelines as planners. And we all have vendors and clients that wouldn't read their part, even if we decided to compartmentalize everything and, you know, make our 30-page program of events, I like to call it, into smaller, more manageable pieces. I still was finding that vendors weren't reading it. So with our timeline piece, you're actually able to tag your clients, and it goes to their mobile app specifically for every piece of information that you want them to have, whether it's this is where you need to be for your rehearsal dinner, this is where you're getting your hair done, and then there's also a location tag for all of those as well. So they can click on it, the map will pop up, give them directions, and hopefully those groomsmen will not have any more excuses for being late. But for the planner and with their vendors, when they're creating these timelines and tagging the specific locations, they're able to tag vendors specifically as well. So when it comes time for that 2 weeks right before the event and we're sending out all of our information, we can send the caterer just the information that they need, because our photographer doesn't need to know where the caterer is loading in, nor do they care when they're loading in. So we really wanted to streamline that entire process and make the communication better between vendors and clients for the planner.
Mm, that's great. And I envision by what you're telling me is that it could also work really well with site visits. Sometimes your client has to go on a site visit without the planner, and then just helping them be where they need to be and having all the details that they need for that too.
Absolutely. And to that point, we have the floor plan in there as well. So you
Mhm.
could have multiple floor plans and say, hey, while you're checking out this space, you can check out 1, 2, or 3 different floor plans. We think that this would be the best setup for your event specifically.
That's wonderful. So before you share more about Oro, because I'm excited about this, I really can't wait to hear more. How did the name come to be? So I'm a stickler for names. How did Oro come about?
So oro means gold in Spanish. And so with my company of Frosted Affair, my name's Katherine Frost. I actually stole it from my sister's debutante ball. We called it a Frosted Affair. So the name was easy there, but I love kind of name plays. And so Oro, we wanted it to be the gold standard in event planning. And so instead of using gold, we decided to use Oro. And it's just kind of fun to say. It kind of rolls along with everything. And so we really just want to keep living up to our Oro name now for everybody.
That's awesome. I love to hear the story behind the name. So thanks for sharing. So I know you mentioned some of the features of Oro, but can you share with us some other features? I did take a peek, and right now I love the floor plan and the timeline. So just share with us some of the main features of the product.
So when you upload different vendors,
Mhm.
you're able to load all of their contracts, because we know that there, especially now, many contract changes that are happening with the pandemic. Dates are moving, or just little details. But contracts management system is in there, invoicing for clients, and you have an entire budget that you're able to structure in there with payment schedules. So all of this will show up on the client's app as well. So there won't be any more excuses, hopefully, for them missing any payments or wondering when something is. We really wanted to make that communication process better for clients so that they felt like they had more control over the event,
Mhm.
since they're paying for all these different items. But we also have a checklist, which is really exciting. You're able to adapt it for each of your different clients. So if you have a nonprofit group, you can put in their specific checklist. If you have an unruly corporate client, you can give them a checklist. And then it gives them a notification when something is due, or when they need to start checking off items and look at things. So the app is a great tool for planners to be able to be like, hey, please keep looking at all this information. And so you're able to see an entire look of your event on our dashboard as well. And so once you put in all that information, it tells you where you are in terms of the checklist, if there is one, or where you are with the budget. And it just kind of keeps everything, it keeps you more organized, I guess, just at a glance.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So, as far as your floor plan, does it accommodate features like social distancing, or are you able to kind of accommodate for that? within it?
Yes, you can. So we have it built in now where we have cushions around all the different chairs and the different tables. And so they can't be within certain parameters of each other, which is really nice. And then we'll obviously, once we can start having maximum capacity again, we'll start to lower the threshold for our bubbles around all of these items again. But it's nice right now that you're able to drop these items in
Yeah.
to a floor plan and manipulate them that way, and they'll kind of bump up against different bubbles, if you will.
Awesome. Well, I am really excited to see it. And everyone, Catherine was so just accommodating. And she said, I'll go ahead and show it to you on the interview. So we will head over to, well, we will be on YouTube if you would like to go ahead and see this, this tour of ORO. But for those that are on the podcast, we'll catch you back up as soon as we are done.
Perfect. So hopefully you can see my screen.
Yes.
So this is the My Events page. You have all of the events here, or you have the most recent ones, and then you have archived events, which is really nice for when you have a lot of events going on and you want to just check the box that it's done. So this also goes in order for when the next event is. This is the dashboard that I was referring to. So it just tells us what the name of the event is, how many guests there are, what the date of the event is again, where you are with vendor contract uploads, where you are in the checklist, the financials at a glance, when some of the upcoming payments are. And then this is our program of events. You're able to send this or download it into a PDF as all the event contracts, timeline, inventory, and floor plan. And then this is our mobile app management of when your client has actually viewed the app last, which
Oh, I
is
love
great
that.
news because we all want to know when they have viewed it, right?
Yes.
This is our vendors page. So you can click into all the vendors. You can easily add vendors. When you go inside, you can drag and drop different contracts, or you can hide this and you can look at their payment items or budget items, payment schedule, and then their specific timeline. So since we have tagged this vendor in here specifically, it pops up here for us. And then any notes that we may have. So this could be that a particular vendor likes to show up an hour late. So we need to tell him in his timeline that we need him to be there an hour earlier. Whatever the notes may be for your internal staff, you're welcome to put them in there. Then we have the financials, and you can look at all the different items that you put in here under vendors, and they pop up pretty quickly and easily. So since this is a country club, we put in a fake budget for food and beverage and everything else. And so you're able to change the quantities pretty quickly, the amounts and the totals. So this is all just really easy for you to be able to look at everything at a glance and keep yourself organized as well as your clients and your vendors.
I love this timeline. Look at
Oh,
that.
me too. This is my favorite. So you can tag your clients, or you can untag clients. You can tag different locations. In here we have, a formal dining room, locker room, main ballroom. So even within a specific location, you can have different tag items for location in there. And then you can tag all the different vendors that you want specifically for each of the timeline items. And then once you select those items, that's what will pop up in the program of events and be sent to them directly.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So
Amazing.
you can edit, you can change checklist, our floor plan. We love our floor plan. You're able to make notes for different tables. You're able to move things around. And I don't know if you can see some of these circles around some of our tables, but this is our social distancing
Mm,
circles. So they kind of butt up against each other so you can't overlap them. And it just makes the space really nice and conducive for what is happening now in the world. So it's great. This is probably a Southern event, obviously, because I think that they have less social distancing requirements than the rest of us.
yes.
And then we have the guest list as well. So you're able to say what role they have in the wedding or in the event, any kind of notes that they have in their meal selection.
Well, I mean, that's amazing. Now, are there ways that you can make certain information specific to the planner, especially if the client and the planner has access to the tool, or is everything pretty much an open book?
So this tool is meant only for the planner. So
Okay.
if you want to share information with your client, it will be via the app.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, because I am I really like having full control as a planner and like being able to dictate what my clients are seeing
Mhm.
specifically, and I don't feel like they always need all the details. But you are welcome to share that more information um, than uh, than maybe I would like. So
But they get
planners can kind of dictate what they want. Yeah.
okay, and then you can send them exactly what you need to send them, and it comes to their app.
Exactly.
Awesome. And or the yes, the application that you mentioned. And then what about any integrations? Are there integrations with like online registration tools, or is there a way that you can upload easily with the guest list that you have there?
Yes, so you are able to upload guest lists and all of your contacts for vendors as well via Excel. So we have easy uploads for those. And when it comes to registration, especially for nonprofit events, we're working towards that because since I grew up in a house where we did a lot of nonprofit events, they've always been very close and near dear to my heart.
Mhm.
So we're trying to come up with a good way to kind of integrate them into our system, but we don't work currently with any systems.
Okay.
Um, Other than our own.
But it's nice that definitely a simple Excel grid you can get in there.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for giving us an up close look of oral. And I really can see how it gives the planners full control. It helps them just relieve their stress because it keeps everything together. So if you're using that as your digital binder, really, you're just looking sharp as a
Yeah.
planner. That's
Well,
awesome.
because you can just pull this up on your iPad and you can be anywhere and access the same information.
Mhm. Great. This is fantastic. Now I know that you have a trial period that people can come in and try out oral if they would like to see how it would work for them. Is that still a possibility?
Yes, so we do have the 1 month free trial, but also since we just launched last month,
Mhm.
we wanted to run a promo. And so we have, if you sign up before the end of January, you are locked in at $1,000 for the year for life. So
Nice.
that's really exciting for us. I would love to sign up for something like this. So we think that's a great opportunity to get people excited about our brand new platform.
That's just fantastic. I love it. So thank you so much for showing it off and just being here to tell us a little bit more about it. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So what feedback have you gotten from planners or your beta team? I know you said you had a beta team that uh, kind of gave it a trial run. What was their favorite experience within the tool?
They loved the timeline and they also love the program of events. So that's been two of the major items that people have loved the most. Being able to tag their vendors and then be able to send them a PDF of all their information that they need specifically, just so that we can, recap it with our vendors. But you can also download it before going to site visits or meeting with clients. And you can just kind of give an overview if you want to give them a paper copy instead of using a digital platform. So it's nice that you can download it and change it whenever you want. We're not trying to encourage anyone to go paperless or anything. We're just trying to help you manage a lot of these tools.
Yeah, but it is a great sustainable a tool that helps you remain right,
Absolutely.
sustainable and conscious of paper. And I really enjoy being able to print it off if you needed to, because that saves you a step of trying to get this really robust program of events complete. So that's
Yes.
great. Um, so what is your vision now from Oral? We're launching it. It's the first month in. What are the future visions for the product that you have?
I really hope that this helps planners, get out of the dark ages that I referenced earlier. But I'm really hoping that this becomes their favorite tool in their planner kit. This
Mhm.
is a way for them to be able to promote themselves, being with a technology platform for their clients as well.
Mhm.
And so we're just trying to we really want to be there for our planners. We also have a concierge service that we offer with our subscription. And so if there's ever any questions that a planner may have, like maybe this is their first time bringing in a national act,
Mhm.
maybe they want to bring in some wolves for a wedding or something for the first time, we would be more than happy to talk people through any of that, look over any contracts and help them with that. So we really want to just be an extension of the planning team and help our planners grow their own businesses.
That's amazing. I love that. Thank you. So now I had a few hot seat questions for you as we wrap up our time together. So I hope you're ready. I tend to like to ask people, those that come on the podcast, some of these questions just to get our juices flowing about what certain things mean to you. So we have an ambitious group of entrepreneurs like yourself in this community. So what are some words of advice that you have for those that are starting their own companies and really want to step out on their own, similar to what you have done?
Oh man, I have so many thoughts here because I feel like I've started two different businesses now.
You have.
But I just go for it. That's the best advice that I can give entrepreneurs. Don't be on the fence about it. You just need to go full speed into whatever you want to do. And getting that first sale is such a rush, but getting the second and the third one are so much easier too. So you just have to keep going and really push through to get that one sale. And I promise your entire world changes and you feel amazing.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I feel like there's some folks in the community that are balancing, maybe they're balancing a full-time job commitment, or maybe it's hard, right, before you
Yeah,
get your first sale to actually step out and do things on your own. So
absolutely.
what about that? Can you give anyone advice on how they navigate those waters? Are you
Yeah.
one of those jump all in entrepreneurs, or?
No, I understand the straddling the line. It is kind of scary to quit everything that and go into the unknown.
Mhm.
But you know, it also gives you um, that need to be able to push you over the edge to get that first sale. And so I would say make sure that you're listening to what's going on around you and make sure that this would be a good fit.
Mhm.
But I am definitely of the philosophy to just jump all in because it just creates that urgency that you need that first sale. And so
Mhm.
you're just much hungrier for it. Um, and you're a lot more excited about it.
Yeah, that's great. Great. So jump in. That's the advice here for the entrepreneurs in the community, if you're looking to step out on your own. So thank you for sharing with that. My next question is, what does leadership mean to you?
Um, my own philosophy with leadership is I like to empower my employees to really own their roles. I really encourage them to um, take on their own leadership and within the companies as well. And so I don't want it to ever be like, this is your only job description and this is all you can do. This is your little bubble. I want them to dream bigger and tell me what they think that they should be doing, or, encourage the other staff to work really well together. And so I try to create more of we're all here together to make this company successful
Mhm.
instead of just one person or another person. So I really do the more of the team approach when it comes to my leadership style.
And that's wonderful, because I feel like you want to cultivate more leaders, right? So it really helps that you empower them to think on their own and to let their own ideas come out. So
Yeah.
that's great. So my next question is about reading. Wanted to know what book you have on your bookshelf that you would like to recommend to our listeners. Can be a book about anything.
So I really like Make Your Bed by Admiral William McRaven. I just thought that that was such a great book about just like really pushing through. It was about his naval experience in the Navy SEALs and just going through that whole training. I know we all watched G.I. Jane back in the day, but that is just it's such a foreign concept to me. And for him to always just go back to We had to make our beds. It always had to look great. And that's just the starting off point for every day. And so that consistency and that routine really clicked with me. And so I love that book, and I thought it was really inspirational.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for that. I'll have that. I've never heard of that book, and I will have to go and check it out. Sounds very inspiring. So I just appreciate you being here on this podcast. You've done so much in the the years that you've been in the industry, and I'm just excited to see where oral goes, and very excited to just see it start to take wind in the industry. Can you let everyone know how they can find you, and if they wanted to learn a bit more?
Absolutely. The best place to find any information about us would be on our website, oroplanner.com. That's OROPLANNER.com. And we have access to blogs there, videos on how to work some of our different features on our platform, and also starting that free trial.
Perfect. Thank you. And are there any last words that you want to provide the listeners of this podcast?
I think 2020 is going to be our year, guys. So
2021 or
oh,
2020?
sorry. Yes, 2021. I really look forward to seeing how planners are able to really shake up the industry this next year. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
It's
Thank you
like
so
strap in, right? You're
much.
about to take off. So
Love it.
exciting. Well, thank you so much, Katherine. I appreciate having you on, and best wishes to you and all of the ORO family.
Thank you.